Okay, so we're going to do, this is very unmartial arty apparently. These are smothers, and in IBJJF rules, you're not allowed to cover the mouth and the nose. In MMA you are, and Smother, you're allowed to do it as well. So we've got a girl who won two grappling matches with Smothers. People complain that it's martial arting on sport. It's alright to elbow someone in the gob as hard as you can, knock all their teeth out, but put your hand over their nose and mouth. That's disgusting. Anyway, let's see. So he's going to go on his back over here. He's going to go to a mount position. Okay. So Smothers, people tell me, are really easy to defend, and then I show them how my uncle used to do Smothers. Okay, and they're not really easy to defend, as people found out in the competition. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do in my mount position is I'm going to have a really good base. My heels are on his hips, really solid in this position. I can be flying if I want to be. I can be into this position as well if I want. But let's just say I've got a really good strong base position. From here, what I'm going to do is have my base up high over here, so there's no umper escapes or anything like that. I'm going to put pressure onto his face, and I'm going to drive his head to one side with my chest. Alright, I need him to be looking in this direction. Once he's looking in this direction, I'm now going to gather his head. So my elbow goes on the floor, my wrist goes underneath the head, and I lift his head off the ground. So I'm kind of cuddling his head to my chest. Alright, once I've got to this position, I put my hand underneath his head. So my forearm is towards the floor, and I compress everything into the ground. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to squash my bicep onto the back of his head, and I'm covering his mouth and nose with my hand. Okay? And then what I do is I'm going to pull everything in this direction as I get the smother. So literally, what I do is sorry, could be a neck crank as well. Put my hand over his mouth and nose, and I compress everything in. Now, if you've got hands like spades, which some people do, it's a lot easier. But I put my hand in here, I have the neck and everything in this position, and then I pull everything in that direction. Okay, so I'm trying to kind of smother him. If it's a neck crank, I do apologise, Graham. Alright, so once again, we land in a nice mounted position. I'm going to drive his head in one direction by putting my chest onto his head, and then grab his head and lift it slightly. Use my elbow on the ground to lift the back of his head, so my hand's on the top of his head, and I'm kind of controlling it in this little ball. Okay, this hand goes underneath, and I'm trying to go as deep as I can so that I can cover his mouth and his nose. Okay, it's not nice for him at this point, and I start to add some pressure. Once I start to add some pressure, I then start to take everything in that direction. Okay, so if you're doing it right, and you're covering the nose and the mouth, you compress everything in, it's a beautiful smother. If you're not doing it right, it's a horrific neck crank. But hey, whatever.